Know your season. Know your season. Ecclesiastic 3:1. There's a time and a season for all things under the heaven. Thank you for tuning in today's broadcast of You Are Enough. And I'm your host, Prophetess Nikki. In today's video, I want you to know your season. I want you to know where you are in this period of your life. Understand spiritually what is going on with you. It's going to take the spiritual discernment that you have. When you come out of this season, people are going to know who you are. When you come out of this season, you are going to understand why you had to wait so long, why you have been toiling so long in this season. You know, just like when we have natural seasons, we have spiritual seasons, just like that. And God takes us through these seasons. There's going to be a season in your life where you plant. There's going to be seasons in your life where you're going to grow. There's going to be seasons in your life where you're going to harvest. And this is the most difficult season that the enemy gets a lot of people in and cause them to abort or self-sabotage their kingdom assignment or their purpose. And I don't want that for you. So I'm here today to give you a better understanding so you can know your season. So when you get out of this, you're going to know who you are, and people are going to have a better understanding of who you are. You are seasoning, planting. You're in a season where you're going to grow, where you're going to harvest, and in this winter season. Because the winter season is your dormancy season. That is a challenging season. That is a very hard season. That is a very difficult season. In that winter season, we don't like to be in that winter season because this is where God makes us wait. This is where God isolates us. It's a period of where God causes us to go through those Garden of Gethsemane experiences, those wilderness experiences, in those cold, tough, challenging winter seasons. This is a season where God is going to replenish you. This is a season where God is going to require you to wait. And it feels lonely in that winter season. But God knows what He's doing. Trust what He's doing. Trust the plan that God has for you. God said in Jeremiah 29:11, I know the thoughts and the plan that I have for you. The thoughts and the plans that God has for us, they're not of evil. They're to give us a hope and to give us an expected end. That expected end that you want, you're going to get it. But you have to be able to discern what season that you're in. God raises up one and God puts down another. God is the one who raises up kings, and He's the same God that'll pull down kings. God is the same God that has the power to change your season. Hashtag that. God is changing my season. There's going to be a changing of the guards in your life. God is going to move you from the back all the way to the front. God is going to move you from the backside of the desert where nobody knew who you were, where nobody knew your name, until everyone knows who you are. When you're in that season, you want to get out of that winter season because it's very challenging. It's very tough. It's very rough. How do you know what season that you're in? First, you got to have a spiritual discernment. Yes, we have faith because we can't please God without it. But you have to have spiritual discernment to know the season that you're in. When you're feeling restless, when you're feeling an uneasiness in your spirit, when your emotions are all over the place, pay attention because this is God changing your season. The seasons of your life are changing, and they're not changing for the enemy's good. They're changing for your good. God wants you to pay attention to the circumstances that are all around you. God is speaking. Hashtag that for me. God is speaking. And God is changing my season. He's changing it. This is why you've been isolated. This is why God has set you apart. This is why God has called you out from amongst them and separated you. God has sanctified you. God has sanctified you. He set you apart. That's what that means, sanctification. He sanctifies us. He sets us apart to do something extraordinary. You are not an ordinary person. You're not a minute person. You're not a small person. You are going to live large. You're going to live a supercharged life. You know, God wants you to know that weeping may endure for a night, but joy is going to come in the morning. You may be crying now, but the same cry that you have, the same tears that you're crying over the same situation, you're not going to keep crying over that same situation. This what God is doing. He's changing your season. You've been sensing this in your spirit. You've been getting spiritual nudges, but the enemy has been tempting you just to focus on everything bad that is going on in your life. The enemy has been pressuring you to give up, to cave in, to lose heart, to quit. The enemy has been pressuring you and tempting you to wave your peace flag, to surrender. No, you surrender to God. You don't surrender to life's challenges and life circumstances and trials and tribulations, hardships, conditions that you think you're going to always be in. No, you don't surrender. You surrender all to God. God is changing your season. Pay attention to the emotions that you're facing. Pay attention to the emotions. Pay attention to how you feel. Look at the chaos that is around you. God said, I'm changing your season. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. In your seasons, just like we have natural seasons. Ecclesiastes 3:1, it tells us there's a time and a season for all things under the heaven. There's a time to cry, to mourn, to laugh, to be sad, to be happy, to live, to die. There's a time to succeed. There's a time not to succeed. There's a time to plant. There's a time to grow. There's a time to harvest. And it's in this last winter season that is the most difficult. The winter season is a dormancy season. It's a season where you're going to wait. God is going to teach you and train you so much about yourself and Him in that dormancy season of winter. You're going to wait. And in that dormancy season of winter, this is a place where God is going to replenish you. This is a place where God is going to refuel you. He's going to resuscitate you in that winter season. It's a period of your life where you're going to be isolated. God is going to remove so many people away from your family because God just cannot afford. He's not going to do it. He's not going to allow people to come in and to interrupt. He's not going to allow people to come into your life to disrupt and to tear down what He is doing in your life. This is why God has taken you away from family. This is why God has snatched you out of places, because God knows these places are hindrances in your life. You know, God told Abraham, get away from your kin people. He said, don't take nobody else with you. He said, you go to a place where I'm going to show you. You just keep walking until I tell you to stop. You trust me, you have faith. But Abraham took Lot. He wasn't supposed to take him. See, this will slow down the blessings in your life. Whenever you take people that God didn't tell you to take, it's going to cause more problems in your life. It's going to cause more hardship. Haven't you ever said that before? I wish I would have never taken this person. I wish I had did this the way God told me. God is going to give you a turnaround season. He's going to give you an opportunity to do what you need to do. Know your season. And when you come out of this, people are going to know who you really are. You are going to know who you really are. You're going to know so much more about yourself. You're going to know so much more about our God than you ever thought or imagined in this season. Remember, it's a season for all things. There's a time for all things. And if you found yourself in a season that's very challenging, that is your dormancy season, that is your winter season. You're going to go through a summer season. You're going to go through a spring season, an autumn season, and you're going to go through a winter season. You have to go through with it because God has to build that inner man. He has to make sure that the inner man is strong. He has to take us through spiritual rigors, just like we would exercise physically to keep that physical body strong. God has to make sure that spirit man is strong. So He's going to take us through spiritual rigors. And what does spiritual rigors look like? How does God build up our spiritual muscles so that we can have spiritual maturity and spiritually grow? By the challenges that we face, by the trials and the tribulations that we face and we go through it, by the hardships. You may be in a condition right now that you don't want to be in. It may feel like eternity. It may feel like to you you're never going to get out. But this is a sign from God that He's changing your seasons. Pay attention to the emotions that you face. Pay attention to the unsettledness in your spirit, the uneasiness that you have in your spirit, that part of you that's not being able to rest, a lack of peace. Pay attention to your emotions, because this is God giving you confirmation. This is Him confirming to you that I am changing your season. Just like God raises up kings and pull down another one, God said, I'm the God that's going to change your season. God is going to take you from the back and throw you all the way to the front. God is literally going to pull back the curtain of your life and present you to the world. But before God blesses us, He has to break us. Before we can be blessed, God has to break us. He has to crush us. Then He blesses us. He pours that powerful spirit in us. Then He gives us to the world. Now we are equipped. God will never give you a gift prematurely, because whenever He gives us things, gifts, anointings, prematurely, it will self-destruct our life. We will self-abort. And God is not going to allow that to happen. Know your season. Know your season, King ambassadors, beautiful kings and queens of the Most High God. Know your season. And know this: people will know who you are. They're going to know who you really, really, really are when you come out of this. Because God is going to show you great and mighty things you've never known. Don't get scammed on our channel. You see the scammers in the description, in the replies of your comments. I'm not reaching out to anybody. So when you see these fake picture icons with me there, or anybody else there, these cryptocurrency comments, I have asked you all so respectfully and kindly, take accountability. And I want you to delete it. Don't leave these things on our page. When you see it, delete it. We are helpers one to another. I don't want you to fall victim and prey to scammers. Watch this video from the beginning to the end. Share this message. Go back and rewatch those pre-recorded lives and those pre-recorded videos for me, because God has a rhema word in these videos for you. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell for me. I love you. We'll talk later.